You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI. It's Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. No video simulcast tonight. We'll be back with that tomorrow. Daniel, our video technical director, had the night off doing some family business. And speaking of family business, it's the Disneyland Resort's 70th celebration, and it's not a celebration without you. With all the sights, laughter, and fun, everyone is excited. KFI AM 640 wants to give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of one-day, one-park tickets to Disneyland or Disneyland California Adventure Park and join this limited-time event. All you have to do is keep on listening to KFI for your chance to celebrate with us. Offering subject to restrictions and may change without notice. That's Disneyland. And you think of Disney, how there's a television aspect to it. There's a movie aspect to all things Disney. But also with Mattel, they seem to try to, they're seemingly are in the process of trying to grow into that, where Mattel had past tense, a studio, a TV and movie studio, but now Mattel is combining them into one entity. And you think about Mattel, I think of Mattel as action figures. I think of Mattel as maybe games and some properties that aren't, you know, they're not movies. I don't think of them in movies. Then you have a movie like the Barbie movie. It's like, wow, you know, that's made something out of nothing. It's like, how can you turn Barbie into a movie? And they're also going to have Masters of the Universe, which is going to be a live action movie. There's supposed to be a Hot Wheels movie. And I'm thinking like, well, Hot Wheels doesn't have any characters, but they have the magic right now, and they might be able to turn that into something. And they also have Fisher-Price, American Girl, Matchbox, Polly Pocket, and Uno. I hope they don't do an Uno movie. I hope not.
What would a plot to that possibly be?
I don't know what the plot would have been to Barbie. I didn't know what the plot was going to be for this Hot Wheels movie that they're supposed to have in development. See, I don't know.
That could be like a Fast and Furious type, like live action, maybe.
You mean Hot Wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah, not Uno.
Yeah, Uno, not so much.
Yeah, I don't.
Wait, credit where it's due. Barbie was shockingly intelligent and fun. I did not expect that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like shockingly. And I saw it, it's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. And I had no desire to see it originally. None.
Same. I hate it when we agree. Same.
And then I said, okay, there's a lot more depth to this movie than I expected. Some of it, of course, was on the nose, but a lot of it, there were layers to that story and movie. It was making it was a social treatise in many ways. A lot deeper than I expected.
Pretty on the nose, but sure didn't expect it. No.
But if anything, it opened me up to the possibility of more things Mattel in a cinematic sense.
Can we get a Lincoln Logs movie, please?
Ooh, I would see that.
Would you?
Yeah, actually would. Or an erector set.
Not careful.
Not that type of erecting.
Yes. Did you have an erector set, Stefan?
No, I have no idea what that is. I know Lincoln Logs.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, erector set is the steel version of Lincoln Logs. Let me put it that way.
Oh.
You can, just Google it. I mean, I can't really explain.
I had a car. Set. I had the car erector set.
I had an erector set. It was just, I don't remember what it was originally supposed to create, but it was an erector set. And I think I had Lincoln Logs, or one of my friends had Lincoln Logs. We played that as well. But my point is, all these things are apt to be merchandised and turned into a movie property that they have the IP, they're going to use it somehow. But the other side of this is, if and when it gets to the movie, what will that movie experience be like? Because AMC Theaters, which is the largest movie theater business out there, they have said publicly they're going to run more advertising in its theaters. Heretofore, they supposedly had this opposition to have commercials which come right before the movie, which is different from trailers. We're talking about actual commercials. So in theory, now, usually it takes about, for a big blockbuster movie, I don't know how many trailers, but it usually takes about a half an hour from when the lights go down to the actual movie. You'll see trailers. You will see the local spots. You'll see an Eminem spot. Most likely there'll be something like "Don't Talk and Text," And there's obviously Nicole Kidman.
We come to AMC theaters to laugh, to cry,
No, we don't.
to care.
No, we don't.
Because we need that.
No, we came to
All
watch
of
the
us.
movie.
That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim. And we go somewhere we've never been before.
I'm staying right in my
Not
seat.
just entertained, but somehow reborn. Together. Dazzling images on a huge
Get to the
silver
movie.
screen. Sound that I can feel.
Hush, Nicole.
Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Now I know why Tom
Our
Cruise
heroes
divorced you.
feel like the best part of us.
Damn.
She
And
won't stop
stories
talking.
Feel perfect and powerful.
Jeez.
Stop talking, Nicole.
They are. AMC theaters. We make movies better.
Now, I'm going to take issue with that. I don't know if AMC is going to make movies better if I have to watch more commercials.
They're like shooting themselves in the foot. As difficult as it is to get butts and seats.
I get why they're doing it. It's real estate, and you want to monetize whatever they can. This is another form of concessions, having nothing to do with the movie. They get to have another stream of income. Let me explain it this way. I'm going to tell you about the first and only time I met Kim Kardashian. This is a true story. Her father, Robert Kardashian, the late Robert Kardashian, after the OJ case, he had this company called Movie Tunes. And it worked with the different record companies where we would pay Movie Tunes to have them feature our artists that played music in the background and say, now you're listening to the new song from Eric Benet, Spend My Life With You. We actually paid for that. And they would play it in the movie theater prior to the start of the movie, before you had this deluge of all this other advertisement and filler.
I remember that. I don't know if that was a company owned by him.
Yes, it was a real company. And back then, pre-digital, we had to physically deliver the music to the company. Back in I want to say I'm at Warner Brothers, so this is around year 99, 2000. Kim Kardashian used to work the front desk as like the receptionist, the welcome person when you went into Movie Tunes. And so I would take over the Warner Brothers Records stuff, and we'd hand it to Kim Kardashian. She's just Kim Kardashian. Her father was more of a star, obviously, back then, because of post OJ. Yeah. So yeah, that's about the only time I met Kim Kardashian, and she wasn't Kim Kardashian. She was just a cute young lady. Just, whatever. She was attractive. That was it. But the point I'm trying to make is movie theaters have long tried to monetize the time before the movie. This is the next iteration of that. But the difference is now people have other options. You're just going to give me, if you're going to put 2 commercials in, you're giving me 2 more reasons to stay my ass at home. Am I going to go to a movie at 11:45 at night, and then instead of having 30 minutes lead up to the movie, now it might be 40 minutes? No, I'm not doing it.
I mean, look, I would, but still, this is problematic, especially when theaters like AMC have already invested in Newsy or Move that whatever that platform is that runs all of those ads and trivia, and it's the young lady.
Yeah.
Now you're watching such and such. Can you guess this and this and that? And then they show a commercial.
I don't mind it then.
But it's not. It's prior to trailers. It's when you're out getting your concession.
That's right. It's not a part of that movie time.
You're just sitting there watching. It might be called movie time, but it's just you're just sitting there chilling, waiting for it to start. What you're saying is, because I'm a captive audience, now you're going to be able to show me these trailers in advance. Commercials, not trailers, in advance.
And they might insert the commercials in between the trailers.
No, because they have done that. I have seen a long set of trailers where they went, trailer, commercial, trailer, commercial, trailer,
Goose.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And that was a problem, because I was like, are they actually inserting commercials in between the actual trailers like this? Like I'm watching a television show called Trailer or something.
Yeah, and it goes to commercial break.
Yes.
Well, part of the problem is that these are things we're already paying for, whether it's going to a movie that you paid for or, say, a streaming app where you realize, hey, that's a lot of commercials for something I'm paying a monthly fee for. And you kind of sit there and wonder, do they have to be pigs about absolutely everything? Is there no such thing as enough? And the answer is no, there isn't.
It used to be you pay the subscription so you did not have to watch the commercials. That was the trade-off. The broadcast television, you're not paying for it. What's the trade-off? You got to watch the commercials every 7 or 8 minutes. Now we have to pay to have fewer commercials on streaming platforms. There are now tiers. You can pay for the top tier and still have to deal with commercials. I know on Amazon, you get the commercials at the beginning.
At the beginning. Yeah.
No, it's not just at the beginning anymore. We were watching a show called The Rig on Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's right.
That we pay for. We pay a monthly fee for Amazon Prime. And the commercials are just onerous, and they're frequent, and they're long. It's like
3-minute breaks.
Do you think we don't remember that we're paying for this service?
Now, it also depends on which tier you're paying for. Because as Mo just said, if you're not paying for the highest tier where they only insert the commercials at the beginning and end, you will get interrupted.
Oh, I don't even know. We're probably on the riffraff white trash tier.
And see,
that's Mark Ronner. Mark Ronner said that.
Thank you.
Mark Ronner said that.
I just want to make sure
You gotta
that
be clear.
understand if you're watching like Reacher and they're throwing in multiple commercial breaks, you're not paying for the highest tier.
Okay, we got to go to break. When we come back, let's talk about Pornhub and pulling out of France.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And we've talked about Pornhub from time to time. And ALO, the company that owns Pornhub, YouPorn, and RedTube, see what they did there? YouPorn, RedTube. Mm-hmm. They're planning to suspend service in France in protest of a new law that would require porn companies to verify the age of visitors. Now, the deadline for porn sites to implement this age verification is June 7th. But Pornhub will block users starting today. Websites will be required to verify a user's age using a credit card or government-issued ID document.
Oh.
Didn't they try to do that here?
Well, it has on varying levels. Like, for example, they have age verification laws across 19 different states here in America. And that's Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Virginia. Those states require age verification.
But that age verification is just clicking the button saying, I am 18. What you just said is you now have to put in a credit card.
Right.
To register yourself, which is a whole new thing.
Or a government ID, which is like, there's no anonymity there.
Yeah.
Presently, and I have my personal laptop. I didn't do this on a company laptop.
Careful.
I went to Pornhub.com. I'm actually on the website right now.
In the interest of news.
And it reads, this is an adult website. The website contains age-restricted materials, including nudity and explicit depictions of sexual activity. By entering, you affirm that you are at least 18 years of age or the age of majority in the jurisdiction you are accessing the website from, and you consent to viewing sexually explicit content. There are two options. One, I am 18 or older, enter, or I am under 18, exit. I'm going to push I am 18 or over.
Careful.
And it immediately
Careful.
Oh boy.
It's immediately explicit, put it that way. It didn't ask for verification, it just asked, it's basically taking my word for it.
Yeah, that hasn't changed since the 90s.
Yeah, back in the 90s, I don't think they even asked if I was 18. It just said, come on in.
Oh, no, they say you must be 18.
Yeah, you must be 18. We're not asking. It's almost like, yeah, you have to be 21 to drink, but we're not asking for your ID. Come on in.
Well, I think for those who peruse Pornhub and YouTube and RedTube and what's the other one? LongTube. It's another tube. There's a bunch of tubes that Pornhub
Careful.
is connected to. And I don't think pulling out of France means anything.
Huh?
France likes it, and people in France like it, so you don't have to pull out.
Are you blaming France for the skirt they were wearing?
No. I'm saying that for Pornhub to penalize France and pulling out,
I say
that's not right.
penalize. That's just me.
It's not penalized.
It's penalized.
I mean, if they're pulling out, isn't it? Never mind. Look, I think that Pornhub,
Yes.
using these parameters, I have no problem with it. If I have to put up my credit card just as proof or my ID, well, damn it. If I like porn, I like porn. What is the problem? What's the problem here?
Okay, here's the serious answer. I don't like giving my credit card to anybody. Not for verification, not for, let's say, for this free subscription for the next 6 daes, and then I have to hurry up and cancel before it auto bills me. I am always reticent to give out my credit card for anyone.
But we give our credit card out for pizza.
Yeah, well, I'm actually purchasing something, not just to.
Oh, trust. You may be purchasing something on Pornhub.
Oh, no, I get that. I get that, but I would rather it be an explicit transaction where either I'm signing up for the website, use of all of its features and everything for a predetermined amount of time, 1 week or 3 weeks full access.
Yeah.
As opposed to you're supposedly verifying my age. I don't like that.
We give out our credit cards for pizza, but what percentage of Pornhub content would you say involves a pizza delivery man?
I mean, that's almost half of the content. Without pizza delivery and Pornhub, I mean, it's not an app without at least a pizza delivery girl, a pizza delivery guy, sometimes a pizza delivery van that breaks down and someone has to stop and help them deliver the pizza. There's all type of pizza delivery in Pornhub. MILF pizza delivery, DILF pizza delivery, college pizza delivery.
Sounds like there's a whole section.
There are failed pizza deliveries. Oh no, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay for this? They're going to take it out of my check.
No, but I see Mo's point because it's like for pizza, you're not saving it anywhere. You're just making the purchase and you're putting it back in your wallet.
You don't save it. You don't take a slice home. What are you talking about?
As far as saving my information. If I'm going to give you my information, it is for purchases only. It is not for verifying identity.
Well, but like you said, you could also just be your driver's license, right? So you can also put up your ID.
Which I'm not going to do.
Or don't watch the porn. I mean, then let other individuals, but I promise you this, Pornhub's viewership is not going anywhere. There's too much porn on Pornhub for it to just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to put that up. You know how many people right now are like, oh, thanks for the information, Mo. Let me go on real quick and update my Pornhub viewership. Bing.
Here's the thing. I'm old enough to remember when you actually had to pay for pornography.
What?
Pre-internet.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously.
Horrible.
Okay, pre-internet.
Yeah.
Now, it's free. Pretty much.
Yep.
Very levels. You can find it anywhere. Everywhere.
Pretty much.
So I'm told.
So you're saying you missed the old days when you had to walk into a store and bring the magazines up to a clerk?
No. I'm talking about the days where you walk into just a video store and you had to walk into that back section where they had the beaded doors. Everyone can see you.
They can see
you. See you go in.
Yeah.
You can't be sly because it makes so much noise.
No.
I worked at one of those in grad school, and you better believe I never let anybody off easy when they came to the counter with a copy of Hannah Does Her Sisters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Debbie Does Dallas. Do we have another copy of that in the back?
Or there's been occasion, so I've heard, where they will say loud things like, "Find what you're looking for."
Yeah, that to draw all sorts of attention to you,
and be holding it up in front of you.
Yes.
Look.
Is this the one you wanted?
Okay, this is the one.
Emmanuel number 7.
Yeah.
Pumping Irene, a classic.
Embarrassing.
And it's funny because you had two kinds of guys that would walk out of there. Some that would like hang their head, and some were just had no kind of embarrassment.
I admired that, by the way.
No, I walked out proud. You knew what I was in there for.
Don't be embarrassed.
The best time I had, 2 of my roommates worked at this store called Hollywood Video.
I remember that.
So, and it was on Venice, somewhere on Venice. So we were spending all time in there, and we had run of the store, and when you're in your early 20s, it's like, why not? So we had like a porn stash, like I'll say 30, 40 VHS tapes high. It was not the conversation starter you thought when we would bring women home. Okay. There were 3 of us living together. It's like, why do you have so many pornos?
No, they have a strange lack of appreciation for that.
I don't get that.
It's weird.
It's very natural.
I've had plenty of of relationships where there are women who did appreciate the porn, and that's part of what attracted me to them. Like, oh, what? Tell me your porn collection.
Your freak matches my freak.
Yes.
I mean, at the very least, they should appreciate all the porn parody titles of real movies.
Yes.
Like you have a copy of Flash Pants? That's impressive.
Yeah, I remember there was one that was called Star, WHORES.
Okay.
I mean, there were a bunch of them.
No, there are lots of those.
Yeah.
There are lots of those. They did a Justice League one not long ago where it was Justice League, something Just Us, like Just Us League United, and it was like all of the male members of Justice League had to take on Wonder Woman.
Male members?
Yes.
We got to go to the news.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Oh, later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And if you're just tuning in, we did not have the video simulcast tonight because Daniel, our video technical director, had the night off tending to some family. Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll be back with it tomorrow, just to let you know. And also, if you're just tuning in, last segment, we were talking about Pornhub, how it was their word pulling out of France because of France requiring age verification for their numerous websites. When I say numerous websites, it's not just Pornhub, but YouPorn and RedTube. Most of these sites, from what I'm told, are largely free. In other words, you can log on to them and browse much of their free content, but there are tiers. You can pay for this or that and the other. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you get the full extended scene, maybe as opposed to the 2-minute clip.
Yeah.
I don't know firsthand, but tonight, for the first time in my life, I went to Pornhub.com on my laptop. I wasn't going to do it on my work computer because, we could have a misunderstanding that way. But it didn't ask for any stringent age verification. For me, it's just click here if you're 18 or over.
Yeah.
Click there if you're 18, if you're under 18.
Yeah. As if you're clicking the under 18. I don't know why they put that. That's a silly button to put it, because if that's the only thing stopping, I'm 18 every time. I don't care how old I am.
Right.
I'm always 18.
And I don't know how that absolves Pornhub and its parent company of any type of responsibility or liability. But I guess it's enough in states like California, which is not by law required a more stringent form of age verification.
Well, I think in some of these other states, especially within the Bible Belt and across, probably in the Deep South, where even though Pornhub may be the number one watched streaming platform in a lot of these states, they want to appear that they're holier than thou. So they say, you cannot consume porn if you're under 18. So that's why they're like, here you go, age verification. Porn, cigarettes. This
is something I want to make a connection and comparison to TikTok. Remember the whole talk about banning TikTok? And I said, you really can't ban it. All you can do is make sure the app is not available in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, but you can't ban it. And also, if you go to the website for TikTok, you can still use the web version, and it probably offers a download version of the app. Pornhub is the number one website in the world.
The world, yes.
The world. Mm-hmm. And it's number one without the assistance of an app in the App Store or the Google Play Store. So, in effect, Pornhub is banned in America if you compare it to what was proposed as the TikTok ban. Pornhub is still the number one in the world, and it's not going anywhere. And even though we say it's pulling out of France, it really doesn't mean anything for Pornhub. It's still going to be the number one website in the world.
It's almost like they're just giving lip service. Like them pulling
Excuse
out
me?
Doesn't mean anything.
What?
No, like they're talking off the side of their neck.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant something else. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, they're talking out the side of their neck with this pulling out conversation, because you don't have to go onto the app. In France, I'm sure they have whatever search engine they got, Firefox, Safari, Google, whatever they got. You just go there and you go to your hidden browser. Got to make sure you go to your hidden browser.
Or VPN doesn't hurt either.
VPN to really protect yourself. Why not? I like that just as well. But you go to the incognito mode, and yeah, look, I'm not going on to the Pornhub app. I just dialed up Pornhub and I click that button right there, and
you're in.
I am 18,
You're all the way in.
And whoa. This is what they're doing on Pornhub? I've never seen such ludicrous things.
Well, yeah, it's almost like it hits you in the face. Just like all over your face.
Jesus Christ, amen.
When we come back, we're going to check in with George Norrie and see what's going on with him. And I hear that it's a very special day, so we'll talk about that with him. And also, I have my final thought, and it has to do with ICE and warrants. Not ICE as in cold in your freezer, but ICE as in immigration.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly. Coming up will be a very, very, very special Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. And we're getting ready to talk about it right now. George, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Mr. Kelly. For the first couple hours, we're going to talk about ancient civilizations. Then everybody's invited to my birthday party.
Yes, happy birthday, George Norrie. 25 years old today.
Times 10.
I don't think you're 250. I don't think that.
I'm close to it, but
No?
thanks. You looking forward to it?
Yes. I want to join in the festivities.
Come on by.
All right, then.
See you soon.
And to close out for my final thought, it goes a little something like this. A number of reputable media outlets have reported that ICE agents have been ordered to arrest more would-be immigration offenders, even without warrants. And you heard that right. Even without warrants. I say would be because we've already crossed the Rubicon, as they say, as it relates to due process. It's clear you can be arrested and deported to a country not of your origin and to a prison without having committed a criminal offense. And I'll explain that in just a second. And all that can be done without receiving any due process along the way. Here is the law, not my opinion. Undocumented presence in the U.S. without proper authorization is a civil violation, as are littering, speeding, and the like. But those undocumented individuals in the U.S. without proper authorization may also be subject to a fine, but cannot be charged with a criminal offense solely for being present without authorization. That's per federal law, not my opinion. Merely being in this country illegally is not a criminal offense. For example, you could overstay your visa. That's not criminal. The Supreme Court recently granted Trump administration the power to revoke the humanitarian parole status of people from, including yet not limited to, Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Sudan, and Haiti. This means that someone's legal status can now change overnight, but there is no breaking of the law here, no criminal offense committed. It just means that those individuals no longer enjoy protected status and can be removed. No crime has been committed and should not be subject to arrest. Not by law, at least. Here's where it becomes criminal. It becomes a criminal offense if you are found to have illegally entered originally or re-entered the country after deportation. That's a violation of federal law. First-time offense can be a misdemeanor or felony, depending on the specific circumstances. But how do you know someone entered illegally? Oh, that requires due process. Like, how does one know that someone actually violated a speeding law or a littering law? Due process. They are inextricably linked. The only way one could determine if someone is either unlawfully in the country or has overstayed a visa, i.e. documented, humanitarian parolee, or illegally entered the country is by due process, period. You don't get to just look at someone and say, oh, Mark Ronner looked like he just walked across the border. Unless you are actually at the border while it's happening. And even then, there's still a form of due process. Why am I talking about all this? Well, let me go back to the top and tell you one more time the latest news. The Guardian and other reputable media outlets have reported that ICE agents have been ordered to arrest more would-be immigration offenders even without warrants. To specifically order ICE agents to arrest, which means criminal behavior, To arrest people without warrants is to instruct ICE agents to break the law. Not my law, the law. Remember, this country is supposedly about law and order. Here's what the law says about immigration arrests and warrants. ICE officers can make arrests without a warrant, but it must be in public spaces. In private spaces, they are required by law to produce a signed judicial warrant or be given homeowner consent to enter a home or private area to arrest someone. To specifically instruct ICE officers to make these arrests, even without warrants or criminal conduct, that's the key phrase, is to instruct them to wholly disregard the law and violate private spaces. Now, if you're okay with that, it's only because you think it won't happen to you or it applies not to you. And if that's the case, you need to stop lying about how important law and order or the Constitution is supposedly, because neither actually is at this point. The Constitution doesn't only apply to people you like or the people who vote your way. And we've covered this before. You should remember. The Constitution and its protections cover all persons within the borders of this country, not only citizens. Stop telling that lie otherwise. The only time it doesn't is when martial law has been lawfully declared. And as of yet, we're not under martial law. Maybe by next month, but not yet at least. One of the emails from ICE's acting executive associate director of ICE's enforcement and removal operations, long ass title. His name is Marcus Charles. He instructed ICE officials to even go after people they may coincidentally encounter. Collaterals are the people ICE agents may encounter when effecting an arrest of a particular person. You know, that could be family members, that could be friends, it could be just folks hanging around the location of an encounter. Quote, here's from the email. All collateral encounters need to be interviewed, and anyone that is found to be amenable to removal needs to be arrested. We need to turn up the creative knob up to 11 and push the envelope, close quote. The email said needs to be arrested, despite what I just told you about the law, about mere undocumented presence not being a criminal offense. That would be like arresting people for littering. That would be like arresting people for speeding, parking violations. No exaggeration. Either this is about upholding the law or it's about disregarding it when politically expedient. It's one or the other. You know how I always say that. There is no in between. Either humanitarian parole status matters or it doesn't. It can't be only for 59 Afrikaners from South Africa, but not the Sudanese, where there is an actual and ongoing civil war, which has murdered more than 150,000 people. I tell you, we are an unserious nation. But despite that, here's the larger question. Does the federal law only serve as a suggestion? Is it for guidance sake? Is it for shites and giggles? I need to know. I hate to sound Shakespearean, but that is the question. And it's also a rhetorical one, because warrantless arrests, hear me, outside the boundaries of the law are both unconstitutional and un-American. And I would be remiss, I'm going to get ready to go there, if I didn't already acknowledge that the targeted revocation of humanitarian parole status of only Central American, of only South American, of only indigenous African nations is nakedly indefensible. It also only confirms this is not about who is illegally here in the country, because all of those humanitarian parolees I just told you about, they were here legally. The status of humanitarian parolee is not to be confused with criminal parole. It is a discretionary decision made by the U.S. government that allows a non-citizen to enter the U.S., even if they are otherwise inadmissible, due to urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit. Humanitarian parolees were here legally in this country. Revoking their statuses is only about removing who you don't want in the country, irrespective of them actually following the law to get here. Oh, and I almost forgot. I don't know if you caught the news today. The Trump administration announced a travel ban today, preventing travel into the U.S. from 12 countries. Ask me where those 12 countries are. Ask me, where are those 12 countries? I know. It's America and Afrikaners first. I'm clear. And I said what I said. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.